coming. The Mach 1 Mustang. Its very name evokes images of the huge motored behemoth that roared to life near the end of the muscle car era. And following the classic line of thinking that says, everything old is new again, the Mach 1 Mustang is new again. And it's all about kicking butt, the old-fashioned way, with raw power.
I tell you what, it brought back memories. But this is a retro car in its own way. It's the old shaker hood and a lot of power and a lot of noise and thunder, and it's a pretty sophisticated automobile. But to me, it's very 1970s muscle car.
What gives this car muscle is the 4.6-liter dual overhead cam V8, pulled from the 1995 SVT Cobra, which pumps out 305 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. Drop the hammer, and that's enough to squeal the tires in first and second on the way to 60 in a scalding 5.2 seconds, just 0.7 seconds behind the more expensive SVT Cobra. Power is not the only improvement to the Mach 1. In fact, Ford has found a way to remove most of the typical Mustang disappointments. Enough, in fact, that several of our editors have pronounced the Mach 1 to be the best Mustang they've ever driven. Part of the improvement lies in the Mach 1 suspension.
This Mach 1 is the first Mustang, or maybe the second after the Cobra, to get independent rear suspension. Why did it take so long to put some decent rear suspension on the car? They've played around with the front suspension, that's tied down as well. The whole car just feels like they've just tightened up a few screws. The car is really on the ground.
Even though the Mach 1 feels more grounded, the body still sits a little high on its compliant springs, so it has a slight bobbing motion while going through the corners, proving to be not so easy on the hides when the Mustang's good years were thoroughly cupped after repeated laps. But as soon as you holler, whoa, this pony comes to a stop with the help of Brembo brakes all around, pulling the Mach 1 down from a 70-mile-per-hour stampede to zero in 178 feet. And once stopped, you may get a chance to notice some of the muscle car-inspired styling cues, like the circa 1970s wheels, striping, and badges from the original, and the classic shaker scoop that sprouts through the hood. Ah, yes, the shaker. Not so much a performance-enhancing part as an amusing floor show for the passengers.
To me, it's a bauble, it's a toy, it's a styling treatment that it doesn't do anything for me, and it does inhibit my visibility, and I don't particularly like to drive this car. This is a marketing effort, I think, to obviously appeal to the guy that used to have an old muscle car, and he wants to kind of go back to those days.
Inside, the muscle car cues continue. The driver and front passenger seats look like they were taken straight from the original, but they could use some bolstering for hard cornering. Then there's the billet shift ball for manhandling the gears, and chromed rimmed gauges that could use bigger numbers, because a car that makes big numbers needs big numbers to read. And even though the Mach 1 might not be the best pony car ever, it does have its place.
In terms of it being the kind of ultimate Mustang, I don't think it is. Frankly, I wouldn't want to be driving too far, peering over the top of that shaker hood, and it's something that'd be fun to have at the drive-in and probably a little street racing, but that's about as far as I go with it.
But there is one more thing that makes the Mach 1 fairly appealing: the price. At a base of just $29,000, you get all this power, and for $6,000 less than an SVT Cobra. So if you want a modern-day muscle car, then you better get one. Ford is only offering the Mach 1 option for 1 year to keep Mustang interest up until the all-new Lincoln LS Mustang arrives in '04. And even with mixed reaction from the editors, this special edition Mach 1 ultimately generated more grins than grimaces. So our verdict is to call this Mach 1 the most go for the dough.